And good evening, everyone. ESS, Empire State Sports, proudly presents the Wise Guys Sports Talk Show. Your host tonight, Dave Bartlett, Joey Real, myself, Pete Goslaw, and our very special guest, Matt Belmore. Matt, welcome to the program.
Welcome. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
So, Matt, for people that don't know Matt Belmore, local fisherman, as far as I'm concerned. But we're going to get into a little bit more than that tonight because you're on the circuit. So, if for people that don't know you, give us a little intro of Matt Belmore.
I can do that. Well, I'm a small town guy. I'm from Indian Lake, New York. I've lived here just about all my life, even though I did go to South Glens Falls. That's where I graduated from. But I actually got into this sport pretty late, about 2008. And what got me there actually is sobriety. I got sober and I got hardcore into fishing. And it saved my life, really. And since then, it's just been all about fishing because it's keeping me alive. And basically, since 2008, I've been doing club tournaments, mostly club tournaments, which I have epilepsy, so I cannot drive and operate a boat. So most of the tournaments I do are team tournaments. So since 2008, actually, we've done really well. My partner is Timothy Paraso, one heck of a fisherman, definitely. But we participate in Greenbush Bass Association, which is an awesome club. If anybody ever wants to fish that's a great club to be a part of. Any Bass and Trail. And there is a couple other ones, Cash and Rods, and there is Reynolds Boats. And the big one that I do is American Bass Anglers. Now, what American Bass Anglers is it's a semi-pro division. Now, anybody that is a pro is not allowed to fish this. Now, American Bass Anglers was the original start to Bassmasters. It was, I don't know if you guys have heard Ray Scott. Ray Scott just passed away, actually, and he was the start of Bassmasters. And what it was called the American at first. And since then, it's got pushed more into the Bassmasters. You hear a lot about the Bassmasters and everything else, but the real start is in the ABA. And you see a lot of fishermen that fish the ABA that come out of it and are pro. You know, there's a lot that have participated. I know Jamie Hartman was on the tour. There was a few other big names. Everybody starts here. And I've been really lucky through the years to we've broken a few records, not in the ABA, but in club tournaments. There's in Greenbush Bass Association, there's a weight of 24.96 for five fish limit. And I don't know if that's going to be broken anytime soon, but if it is broken, hats off to the anglers that do that.
Yeah, it's almost a 5-pound average.
Yeah.
It is.
Some people, a 5-pounder is a fish of a lifetime.
Yeah.
Yep. No, we've been fortunate. Yeah, we've been fortunate. And there was another one. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Long Lake, but for the Any Bassin Tour, we fished Long Lake as an experimental tournament because nobody had really fished it yet. And we came in with 24.46 for five fish. So that was something that Any had never done yet either. So that was something special. I've had some really special things happen, and just I beyond grateful. You know, things like this don't happen to small town guys very often. So, but the ABA is that's the step up past club tournaments. And I started in 2019. I was real scared about doing it. I was real nervous. I was like, oh my God, can I compete with some of these guys? Because they're real sticks. They've been doing it their whole lives. And like, yeah, I've been fishing my whole life, but I've only been in the tournament circuit since 2008. And these guys have, I mean, they've got 30, 40 years under their belts. So I was real nervous, but the first year I didn't win any money, but I was doing well enough to keep me up in the points bracket. So at the end of the first year, I ended up 7th overall in the points race, which ended up qualifying me for the Race Scott National Championship at Lake Hartwell. So, and there's $300,000 worth of prize money, and you can walk away with a brand new boat too. So that was an awesome opportunity. When I went there, I was real emotional. I'll tell you that. I was real emotional. It was a good time. I didn't perform real well. It was a hard tournament. It was down in South Carolina, place I'd never fished before. So from somebody that lived in upstate New York their whole life, going down to South Carolina, it was a big deal. That was huge. You know, you always meet awesome people wherever you go. It's a lot of fun. How much respect we get from other people that are around those tournament waters is great. It's really great.
Now, Matt, when you do something like that, when you go to South Carolina for that tournament, do you get an opportunity to scout the water, or?
Yes. They give us there's usually 7 days. You can pre-fish whenever you want. You can pre-fish all you want. The regulation before is the day before the tournament. You have to be off the water by that time. Okay. But if I wanted to sit down at Lake Hartwell the whole season before that started, I could.
Right.
I mean, which does happen because you have people that live on that lake, you know, that you're competing with. I mean, they fish that whole tour just so they can fish Hartwell, you know. Right. And I mean, you're competing against those guys. So it's difficult. It is not easy. It is not easy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and you personally can't just go fish that lake, because you've got to, first, you don't live there, but second, you've got to fish where your tournaments are, and you've got to live your life, to get to that lake.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's not easy for me. So I got stuck. Like this year I performed really well. I went down to Florida for the 2021 season, sorry. And I did very well. That was my first time competing down there, and I ended up 14th going into the championship, and I couldn't make it down. I couldn't go down there. I couldn't go down, and I was absolutely devastated that I couldn't get down there with everything going on with COVID and gas prices and everything. It was just not possible. And when you're doing it out of your own pocket, these things aren't cheap. I mean, the amount of money I go through just in tackle a year is phenomenal. You don't even want to know.
That was one of my questions right out the bat, Matt, is that financially, how does this all work? Because you're minor leagues. So you're a step below the big boys, but so financially, how does this work with you guys? You get sponsors, people donating boats. I don't tackle. I don't know how this works, how they pay for your rooms, all this. Why don't you walk us through that?
No, I'll be honest. Most of us weekend anglers, it comes out of our pockets. Everything. I try to do some part-time here and there, but I've been extremely lucky through the years to win enough in these smaller club tournaments and the occasional bigger tournaments to keep me going, which which is awesome because if that didn't happen, I don't know if I could fish tournaments. I honestly don't know. I'm lucky that I don't own a boat, because if anybody tells you what, boat stands for is break out another 1,000.
Yep.
So, I'd rather not own the boat. Honestly, it fits my style of fishing. I've had to adapt so much to be in the back of the boat as a co-angler in these tournaments that that's just where I'm comfortable, honestly. And a lot of people aren't, especially people that are boaters that come in. If they get stuck and they have to do a co-angler tournament, and they come in and 90% are so frustrated because they don't have any control, which it can be extremely frustrating, but you do what you got to do and you adapt to your situation. But as far as money goes, it comes out of our pockets, everything. I'm lucky that 307 actually works with me, Fish 307. If you guys haven't been in there, you guys got to check it out anyway. But
They get ice fishing equipment there.
they have awesome ice fishing equipment. They're great, and as far as electronics and your trolling motors, if you ever need work, that's the place to go. There isn't anybody better. But Jeff and Luke, they're awesome. They help me out with discounts and stuff like that whenever possible, because gear is just unbelievable. I mean, I just broke a rod the other day, and there goes $240 out of my pocket, and I have to replace it. And so nobody's buying that for me. That's coming out of my pocket. So anything that I made through the winter time, as far as work, is stashed away for gear and tournaments. All that's already put away. But without winning,
$40 for a rod.
I was just gonna say the same thing. It's like I go to Walmart and get the $20 specials.
Yeah.
well,
You're not fishing with any Zebco 33 or anything.
everybody starts out with one. I tell you what.
Yeah, it's true.
Everybody starts out with one, and I'll tell you, I caught just as many fish on that Zebco as I do my $240 rod. Sad to say, but I don't. It's just something about it. But you spend money on this gear because you rely on this gear, and if your gear breaks down, then it's that's your paycheck. That's your next tournament. You pay, I don't mind paying that $240 because the performance that I get out of that rod or that reel is just, there's no comparison.
Well, it's the same with any sport that, whatever sport you're in, you're going to get the performance out of the equipment that the money that you put into it. Any sport.
But, there's the thing about being comfortable, which you don't need big fancy equipment. You do not. You do not at all. And that I'm one of the first people to tell you, because I started out with just a spinning rod going to one of these tournaments because I had nothing. I had absolutely nothing. And I was still catching fish. Maybe not as many as I do now, but I was still catching fish, So you make do with what you have. And a lot of these anglers are doing that. Not all my rods are $240, but if you go down in my basement and you see all my plastics, I'm running real low. I'm running real low. But
so I got a question. So do you have a regular partner? I don't know, what do you call it? You have a regular, or are you sometimes looking for a ride?
I do have a regular partner. For most instances, he's with me just about every tournament. I mean, he's the only guy that I'd want to fish a tournament with, honestly, as a teammate. His name's Timothy Paraso. He is an absolute stick. He's dynamite. I couldn't say any more about the guy. He's taught me a lot.
Where's he out of? Where's he
He's
from?
right out here at Indian Lake.
Oh, okay.
Yep, Indian Lake, and he does the ABA tournaments, which is really good because I can ride right with him. So,
Nice. That's nice.
yeah, yeah.
So to save on money and cost, you guys usually do local, I should say local, regional, regional tournaments more than you would go south of that?
Yes. Yep. The only time we usually go south is during the winter time, or if we do qualify for the Ray Scott, it's usually somewhere south. Like in 2020 when I qualified for the second, it was at Lake Chickamauga, which was down in Dayton, Tennessee. So that's when we really travel is during the winter time. This winter wasn't feasible. I just couldn't do it. Not with the prices, everything that was going on. And I've been out of work for almost 2 months with a torn labrum. So I'm just getting back into it again and fighting with the doctors. But I've I've been down practicing and going through all the motions. So I'm set and ready to go.
Yeah, that's gotta suck because that's an important muscle for you when you guys are fishing. And you had posted something on your Facebook page too that you had that it ran down through your back also, so you had issues with your back too, which causes additional pain.
Yeah, well, it's because it's hanging. It's hanging low, which is putting all this stress on my neck and yeah, and definitely my back, and it's constantly pinched. But there's I luckily I've been through this injury before. Like I've had the problem on this side. So, but why I've been fighting with the doctors and hold off the surgery because I was out of commission for at least 6 weeks. I want to say it was even longer than that in the last surgery. So I don't want to do it. That'll carry me too far into the tournament season, and it'll keep me from qualifying to go down south. So I don't want to go through that.
So you're based on a points on points for through the year too? Is it? Or?
Yeah. And just about every tournament trail, whether it's a club or a trail, they're all based on a point system as well. So that's for people that really keep track of the angler of the year race. For if you watch any of the Bassmasters or anything like that, it's all done by AOI points. Yep.
And you're strictly bass.
Yes. Yep. Strictly bass. Yep.
Large and smallmouth, or all largemouth?
No, there's all bass species just about. So not rock bass, of course, but it's largemouth, smallmouth, spotted bass. Those are pretty much your top three that you're gonna see.
Just
Do walleye tournaments or anything? Or
no, I don't. I just stick with the bass. I mean, every once in a while, do I go out and fun fish? Yeah. But when you're trying to make a living by just fishing, then I gotta totally dedicate my time just to fishing, So, and I've lost a few relationships because of it. I won't deny that. There's been that's definitely happened, but I've got a dream, and I'm not getting any younger. So, and my dream's to fish, and I just want to fish. That's it. So, and I'm bound and determined that that's what I'm going to do. That's it.
so your goal is to become professional at some point with the big boys?
Yeah, 100%, 100%. This year, I believe I'm going to be doing a Bassmaster Open event, which is going to be. There's actually a few. There's an MLF and Bassmaster at Oneida and Lake Champlain, which are both strong lakes for me. So, and those are they're very very pricey. But like I said, I've been putting money away through the winter to stash it away for those bigger tournaments, because eventually when you hit big on one of those tournaments, I mean, it's life changing.
Yeah.
It's definitely life changing. So
you got to be in it to get there. I mean,
Exactly. And you ask any tournament pro out there, nothing was handed to them, before they got there. They all had to put in their work, you know, they, they sure make stuff look easy sometimes, but
Sometimes they do, man.
but it's not, and it's the most difficult job I've ever had. And I mean, I worked at a golf course for 14 years and I had people work under me, and that was nothing. I mean, I've worked construction and and cut trees. I don't want to do it no more. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it.
Yeah, those
But-
golf course jobs, man.
Yeah.
Dave works down an inlet.
Oh, no kidding. Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I worked at Cedar River, so
Okay.
yeah. And
Yeah,
they're actually selling. They're actually selling it.
Yeah.
Have they got a buyer?
No, they don't.
Oh,
They're
okay.
They're asking,
The town was talking about purchasing it, but I think that kind of fell through.
yeah, yep. They're asking $9.95 for it. So
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
unless you got that kind of money, do you want to buy a golf course?
Yeah, let me write a check. Hold on. So Matt,
I need to join a fishing circuit and make some money to do that.
yeah.
There you go.
I
There you go.
don't know if Joey's got anything for you, but I got another question. So let me ask you, do you ice fish at all?
I used to a lot. Last few years, I haven't, just because I've been going down south. Why brave the cold if I don't need to?
I understand, trust me.
Yeah, rather stay warm. But when I did ice fish, I mean, I had a great time. But the older I get, the less I want to spend time up here. I'd like to go down. But I don't know if I'll ever move south. There's too much up here that I love, and anybody that's been in the Adirondacks can say the same thing. They always got to come back.
Exactly. Yep. Dave and I still live in the Adirondack, so.
Yeah, it's beautiful. You guys know, it's beautiful place. Beautiful place.
Matt,
Yeah.
so describe to me, is it an entry fee for every tournament that like you have to pay an entry fee for every tournament? So like when you do this Bassmaster Open thing,
Yep.
not to get nosy, but what are you looking at for expenses just for that week to be able to participate in that?
Well, depending on where it is, let me see. Well, if I was to go to Oneida, so that's going to cost me gas money. There, obviously, I'm going to split it with my buddy. But you guys know what gas prices are now for 3 hours towing a boat. So that's coming out of our pocket. Our entry fee can be anywhere from 90 to, I mean, some of the top events can be up to $1,200, which I can't do. The most I'm going to spend is $500. Is about $500 to get into one of the top tournaments. What I pay as an ABA and in these clubs, you're going to end up paying a membership fee, which can range from $45 to up to $155. So you have you have that on top of your entry fee, and then you have to pay your boater gas money as well. So when you get there, you obviously you talk to your boater for the day, and you guys get a game plan and you sort out gas money. That, I mean, if you don't give your boater any gas money, which people don't, then you're kind of a dink, because the boats are expensive, and they're putting $200-300 of gas in their boat, and I'm fishing on their boat for a day. I always throw them $50. I mean, always at least $50.
It's like not tipping your caddy, right, Dave?
Exactly.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. depending on where you're going.
Well, you'll be finding yourself without a ride after that. You do that.
Yeah, there you go. Yep. No,
So-
you're in good rapport with other people too, because I mean, you're in somebody else's boat. They're taking you out, you know, and it's you're kind of their responsibility for the day. So if I gotta throw them $50 for the day, I don't mind it. You know, that's what I would say normal going rate should be. People usually do about $30, something like that. But I guess I've been a co-angler for so long that I just know what it takes to operate these boats for this long. And I mean, giving somebody less than that is just a kind of a slap in the face, you know. But you get a lot of the boaters that say, no, I don't want your money. You've been great. You've been cool all day. I don't want your money. And, you know, which is cool, but I still stuff some money, whether it be in their dash or whatever. I'll still stuff some in there if I can, if I can, just because, you know, they're paying a lot of money to be there. Their entry fee is twice what I pay. So, you know, and they own the boat. So I don't mind doing that. But no matter where you're going, you better bring at least a couple $100, even if you're going to do a club tournament, small local club tournament. You want to split the membership with a buddy, you know, and an entry fee, which may be $100, something like that for a smaller club. Yeah.
So rooms and food and all that. Now, do you guys stay with other people that you know, or do you have to pay for hotel rooms? Tell us a little bit about that, Matt. Sorry, Joey.
That's okay.
If we can, we like to room up with people. If we're going out of town, and if it's anywhere over 3 hours, we don't want to drive the morning of, because I mean the tournament starts at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. I really don't want to start driving at 1 a.m. You know, no. So a lot of people, what they do is they room up, or they'll get a cabin, you know, with 2 or 3 rooms, and people room up and stay in a cabin and split the price, which is a big help, because if anybody knows, the price of a cabin on a lake is not cheap, but split between 6 people, that's not a problem. You know, but yeah, that comes out of pocket. You try to stay home when you can, but if the expense is going to cost you more to drive back and forth, stay in the room. You know, just kind of use a little bit of common sense. But
Right.
no matter any way you look at it, still you're gonna pay money. You know, so you really go trying to win every tournament. I'm going there to win every tournament. Like, some people call it donating. They go there to donate. They say, you know, I'm not there to donate. I don't want to make it easy on anybody,
Right.
you know. So, and I think that makes a huge difference, honestly. And in a competitive nature, if you're going there to win or you're just going there to donate, that's 2 different things. I'm going there with game face on every time, whether it's for $100 or whether it's for $300,000. I'm fishing hard either way. So nobody gets an easy day.
No.
So if you're in something that's Pete said this earlier, so it's like a season-long point standing for you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So how do you set your schedule? Like, are you participating in every tournament that takes points towards that season long? And if you miss one, is it driving you nuts knowing that I'm not getting anything this weekend and falling behind? I mean, how's that work?
Yep. Each club is on a point system. So I got to keep track of each club. So say at Greenbush, I believe there's 2 throwaway tournaments. So you can perform bad. Say if we have 6 tournaments, now you get 2 throwaways. So your points can go off 4. So if you get two you could throw away. If there's one that you attend and one you just completely bomb. But not every club is like that. Other clubs like the ABA, they make you go to every one. Like it's gonna hurt you if you don't show up.
Right.
If you don't show up, that's gonna kill you. So you want to attend as many as you possibly can, because otherwise that gives an opportunity for somebody else to move up. And you don't want that. You don't want to give anybody free points.
Yeah, because
So-
they could perform like they could be mediocre, but they're still outpointing you if you're not there.
Yeah. Yep. Say I'm pulling a zero for that day, and say they take first or second, and I can't attend another tournament, then like I'm out. I'm totally done. And then it's just basically I'm just showing up to hopefully win another tournament. So you want to stay up in points as much as possible, because I mean, at the end of the year, you get extra money for being Anglers of the Year, and everybody wants a big trophy. And, so
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
So I gotta assume that some things in your own personal life has had to been set aside.
Big
Because
time.
so I'm gonna. Is it safe to assume that most of these tournaments are on the weekends?
Yes. Yep.
Okay,
Most
so-
of them are.
So being a guy that 20 years ago was a competitive golfer, as far as competitive golf goes in the North Country, I
Yep.
used to have to sit there, set my schedule in January for the 12 weeks of summer. And I began to realize after it was all said and done, I'm like, I missed this wedding. I missed this graduation party. I missed this July 4th party. And it started to hit me. So is that in the back of your head somewhere? Because I had the passion, by the sounds of your passion, I had the same passion for golf at that same time. So,
Yep.
I just set that stuff aside. But there's got to be a little bit of that in your brain going, boy, I'm working hard at this. What am I missing too?
Yes, a little bit, and it's. See, I was engaged one time. I was engaged, and that totally changed everything. It was all about that, and having that family life and stuff like that. But then I always had this thing where I needed to do more, and I was like, I'm like, this just isn't what I want to do. I'm like, I need to do something, and that just wasn't for me. So I just, and when I got sober, that was what totally changed my life. Was like, fishing is it, because without fishing, I'm off in another land, so if fishing keeps me here, keeps me motivated, keeps me in a straight line. And if that means I sacrifice spending time with friends and going out and hanging out, then that's okay with me. That's okay with me right now. I want to get as much of this dream accomplished as possible while I'm somewhat fit. I mean, because not everybody's Rick Clunn, then they can fish until they're almost 80 years old, and I'm like, with my epilepsy and stuff, I'm going to fish now, and take it for what it is now. If I got to miss out, that's okay. Like, I'll catch up later. I'll do that later. Yeah, I just got dreams, and I don't want to be held back by anything. I just kind of want to do me. And
Good for you. That's,
Yeah.
I mean,
Hey,
you gotta
it's the only
have
way.
the-
It's the
you
only
gotta
way
have
you're
the
going to
focus.
accomplish it, right?
yeah, I mean, it sounds selfish, but I mean, how else do you do it? I don't know of any other way you could do it without being somewhat selfish. But
No, I don't think it's selfish, because you're not hurting anybody else in trying to accomplish it.
no, I'm not hurting
Benefiting
anybody.
yourself. You're, and like you said, you're keeping yourself alive. I mean,
Yeah, no, it's to keep me on the straight and narrow, and it keeps me focused.
There you
You
go.
know, it keeps me focused, and for a long time, that's exactly what I needed, was just to focus. And this is the best way for me, and I mean, that's what works. I tried everything else, but fishing is it. It's just the way I feel.
Yeah, when I was younger, I was playing ball. I played a lot of ball,
Yeah,
a
me
lot of
too.
softball. I was city in Rochester. I played a lot of ball, and then I got into hunting and a lot of fishing, and then I got married.
Yes, and it changed, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I understand your passion. I'm not going to say it was all bad, but I understand your passion while you're still young. Go for it. So
right.
no, and and we can relate. We can relate. We've all had to sacrifice things for what we had to do in the past. So at least you're not married and have kids.
No, I don't.
So
I have a girlfriend. I mean, that she's pretty acceptable with it. I told her way before we even got together. I was like, what I do. Fishing's first. I'm sorry to tell you. I was like, but if you want to get involved, I'm like, you need to know now
Right.
that I'm not going to be home.
I'll see you Tuesday.
It's just being honest. Before you try to step into this relationship here, you need to know that I'm not home. I'm not home very often, so you're gonna kind of have to take the time that I do have. And like he was saying, time management, because all these things happen on the weekends, most of them, and some of these bigger events do start in the middle of the week. So you really, like you said, months and months in advance, really start planning your schedule around those things, and hope to God that they line up. But they don't always, and then you got to make a choice. And if you want to go somewhere, most of the choice is, I'm sorry, but I gotta go fishing.
yeah. So is your schedule is gearing up now, correct, Matt? I mean,
Yeah. Yep. I've got 37 lined up right now. 37 tournaments. 37 right now, and there'll be more through the year that get posted late, or I'll end up finding out from somebody else, hey, there's another tournament going on here, which happens a lot. So I just try to fill up every day on the weekend is pretty much full. I try to fill them every single one, because I don't want any downtime. I don't want any downtime.
so you're making enough to keep your head above water, basically, in these tournaments.
Yes.
Well,
Yep.
good for you. Anytime you can do something that you love and make a living off of it,
Then why not do it?
Right.
I'm fortunate, and I mean, I'm just gonna keep going until I can't go no more. Just gonna do the best I can. When my time's up, my time is up. But till then, I'm just gonna, like I said, I'm just gonna do the best I can. I'm gonna show up to everyone that I possibly can and do the best I can, and hopefully I bring home a check. And if I don't, it's on to the next one. It's on to the next one. Can't get frustrated.
no, at least you're doing what you love. That's all that matters.
You never work a day in your life if you do something that you love.
It's true. That's true.
I loved the golf course. I honestly, I did love working at the golf course. What I didn't like was the responsibility of having people underneath me. That always stressed me out, was trying to keep track of other people, along with trying to keep track of myself, because that was hard enough as it was. But yeah, so fishing is for me. That's just where I'll do the part-time thing here and there for people. I don't mind doing that. I can do a little bit of everything, but fishing's my love. And if you can make enough to keep you going, then good. good. I wouldn't have it any other way.
Matt, I just looked at the clock. We've been talking for 45 minutes and it went by like that.
Right?
Yeah, it's amazing. And I've learned so much in this 45 minutes, because Dave can tell you, we grew up in a small town that we used to go down behind the cemetery, or we used to go down, we had secret locations we used to fish.
Yep.
We used to go down to the boat marina, or we went and we'd catch our share of bass and try to sneak it out of there when they weren't in season. You know what I mean? Huh?
I did that when I was a kid too.
Yeah. So we know, we feel your passion. We had it at one time when we were young, but you know how that goes. We grow up and we have families. So
I do. I definitely do. And I'm not getting any younger, so I'm feeling it every year. I'm feeling it more and more. But I'm just gonna go as far as I can. I'm like, if something transpires with a woman and kids eventually, then that's okay. But I'm not in a big rush for it.
There you go.
I'm just, that's where my priority right now is, the dream. If I can live the dream, then I'll be happy. So,
well, Matt, I thank you so much for coming on our show. We had a blast talking to you.
I had a good time.
I've been trying to get you on for a while. So
I really appreciate the invite. I had enjoyed it a lot. So if you guys ever want to talk some more, let me know. Let me know. I'm always
Matt.
down. Yes.
If the Wise Guys ever makes it big time, and we can pay for a sponsorship for you, and you can put a little Wise Guys logo on your bass fishing shirt. Does that sound like a deal?
All right.
100%.
All right.
we gotta start working on patches. That's what we're gonna do now.
All right. Well, you send me one, I'll wear it.
Sounds good. All right, Matt.
right.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. I had a good time. Have a good
Great.
night, guys.
That's going to be it for tonight, folks, here on ESS Empire State Sports and the Wise Guys Sports Talk Show. For Dave, Joey, myself, and Matt Belmore. Good night, everybody, and stay safe.